What's up, YouTube? Today's Geeky Acrylics video is long overdue. This is my time-lapse of my Black Ops 3 Shadows of Evil Shadowman Funko. This is created with Polymer clay sculpted over some random Funko pieces that were, just left over from previous projects. I do a lot of mix and matching. But before we get into the commentary for this, I just want to address my 2-month hiatus here. Many of you probably don't know, unless you're a friend or family member that's following this. But in addition to freelance artwork and stuff like that, I'm also a writer. For years, I've been a freelancer covering gaming news. I do cover a lot of Call of Duty stuff. But also, I write novels, I write kidlit, which is, I do middle grade and young adult fantasy and light sci-fi type stories. So for years, I've been trying to get an agent and get published. This year, I actually achieved one of those goals. I do have an agent, a fantastic agent. I'm represented by a really great literary agency, and I'm super excited. Obviously, having an agent doesn't guarantee a book deal, but we're working on it. We're on submission with my middle grade fantasy novel now. Post some good vibes in the comments if you can. Let me know if you love books or what you're reading, if that's your thing. But I'm super excited, and, it's a huge milestone for me, and I got a lot going on. I had to do a lot of stuff to prep before we went on submission with my novel. Now I'm working on something new. So yeah, a lot of writing going on behind the scenes. And, it just doesn't leave a whole lot of hours left to the day. So what does that mean for this channel? I'm still creating art, and I'm filming a lot of my projects, but it might just take me a little longer between videos. My previous goal was 1 video a week. I didn't have an agent. I didn't know I was this close to maybe being a published author and having all these other things going on. But it's just not possible right now. I'm a one-woman army trying to do it all here. I do all the editing, recording. I do everything for this channel, in addition to all my writing stuff. Yeah, there's just not enough hours in the day. I wish there were. I wish I could get more videos out and do everything else too. Shadowman here took several weeks to create, and that's a lot of video footage to go through and trim down. So I've been slowly working at it and getting these clips cut down. I can't even tell you how many days and hours this took. It's definitely one of my more complex Funkos, and building up the tentacles and figuring out a lot of stuff here was trial and error. I'm a huge fan of Call of Duty Zombies. I have a lot of great memories playing this map with friends. It was kind of fun beasting out and doing the little Easter egg steps and stuff like that. I can't say I was particularly good at the end part of the Easter egg. Sorry to all my teammates. But yeah. I also sculpted the Black Ops Cold War mimic creature. It was my first armature sculpture creation there. So I'll link that in the description below for any fellow Call of Duty zombie fans. It's always a fun task to take a simple Funko Pop and challenge myself to change it into something more complex, and definitely this was a major transformation here. I knew I wanted the Shadowman to be holding the summoning key, so the body I went with kind of fit that, because the arms are already out. So then, I just had to, trim off the gun and little things in his hand to sculpt the tentacle hands over that. One thing you didn't see earlier when I was working on the hands was that I did go back and add armature wire to that. So it looks like it's just clay, but later on I did go back and add armature wire, but I didn't see any of that in my recorded footage. So sometimes I turn this off or my camera died. But yeah, you always want to make stuff that's going to be thin like that, like those thin tentacle fingers. You want those to be durable, so definitely reinforce that with something some really compact aluminum foil or armature wire if possible. The head was definitely a wild transformation. That was Corey from Boy Meets World. I had his head left over from something. I used his body for, I think, a commission piece or something like that. And so I just had this leftover head, and I'm like, yeah, I can totally, cover this with clay and put tentacles on top of it. I don't think I had a full plan going into this. I was just kind of building it up, the shape of the head. I knew I was going to need to, of course, reinforce the tentacles and stuff with armature wire. I think this press and seal trick was actually the coolest thing. Like, I felt so smart because I was wondering how I was going to get this texture down. And, because the texture really is what makes this come together sometimes. But then one night I was going to get leftovers from the fridge, and I pulled out this container, and I saw the texture of the press and seal, and I was like, you know what, this might really work. Because when you get the clay soft, you can really work with it and press textures into it. It accepts texture really well. So I cut off a square of press and seal, and I just kind of crumpled it and went and just pressed it in. Once you like handle it a little bit, get the clay warm in your hands, and then just press whatever it is. I've done the same thing with like gauze, to create like a bandage type texture. I've used like certain like cloths and stuff to do like beanie textures and stuff like that. So, or it can just be a ball of aluminum foil like I'm using there to kind of create a kind of weathered, rocky texture. But yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do, is just to kind of play around with that. So I was creating a base because I knew he was going to end up being top heavy. Even though I felt like I balanced it well, he might not have fallen over, but I don't ever want to risk that with my custom pieces, being that they are polymer clay and they take so much time. So I built the base, and I embossed the beast symbol into it, the Apothicon. I'm pretty sure that was the Apothicon symbol for the bees, but it's been so long now, I'm second guessing myself. But yeah, so I just kind of dry brushed this like rock effect and laid down a little white just so that my orange would pop. I kind of wanted to blend and kind of give it like a glowy effect. And, I think it came out pretty well. He's even got the little symbol on his like jacket. Those are little details I had to look up because I couldn't remember after all these years. I have not played that in forever, but wow, that was a great map. I wish I had room to keep all my old Call of Duties, even with like an external hard drive. All my games just take up so much room. And the current Call of Duty, yeah, I'm looking at you, Warzone and Cold War. You take up a lot of space. For the painting, I approached this just like I do with a lot of pieces like this with texture. I got a little extra water and kind of watered down the first coat. I really wanted it to soak in to the texture that I created and the little markings. I don't really know what you would call those, like markings or creases or whatever that I saw in the reference pictures and stuff I was using. So I just kind of let that soak in, and then I just kind of wipe away the excess. That way the teeth weren't really too hard to paint over. I didn't want them to be like super black. But so I just go in and kind of wipe some of that off. It was just mainly to get in the crevices there. And then, so my process with that is dark thin coat to soak in like a mid-tone that I go back over it with. And then I just do some really light highlights. But after I get this like thin coat down, I just kind of go in and kind of dry brush over it. I really love the way the magenta pops around his mouth. That's just, I don't know. I just think they're pretty colors. But yeah, you don't have to be exceptionally like careful or neat with this first coat, You're painting all your details and stuff over it so you can go back and clean it up. So I wasn't super duper worried about it. Yeah, it's just really fun. I love when you start to finally see the piece come together. because you start out and it kind of looks just like basic and lumpy, and then you add your textures in, and then you're like, oh, well, these start to kind of look like tentacles now. And then as you build up your paint job, it all really comes together and just brings this character to life. And that is super cool. Like, I love creating Funkos like this. And I want people to look at it and just be like, okay, this is definitely the Shadowman. And it's definitely supposed to be a Funko. Like, I want it simplified and have that kind of, Funko-shaped head and style to it. So yeah, I really love this piece. I love how it turned out. I just want to say a thank you to all the support on the channel. I'd love for all of you to drop me a comment. Let me know what you think. What other customs you'd want to see, or any questions you'd have about polymer clay and customizing. My older videos definitely got a wider reach on here. YouTube doesn't seem to want to recommend the new videos, or maybe it just doesn't get enough activity if they're not a tutorial. But all of your likes and comments really help a small channel like mine with the algorithms. I have some abstract fluid art paintings I've been sharing on Instagram and TikTok, if that's your thing. I'll link my socials in the description below as well. I have 2 custom painted Funko videos that will be coming after this one. Also got a lot of DMs and emails asking about commissions. I was taking commissions last year, but I am closed for orders probably for the foreseeable future. I do have several customs still in my shop. Ninja Turtle customs, video game pieces like Red Dead and stuff like that. A lot of Marvel custom painted stuff. So definitely check those out if you're interested. All of that will be in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching. It really means a lot to me when you guys show up and support the channel. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one. Bye-bye.